Welcome back to Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate Prowler only. Last time we took on Path of the Hunter, which had us slaying a bunch of hyper monsters in the G rank hub. This time, as you notice, we are back on the Soratorium, and that is because the only real specific end quests are actually back in Village. High rank really doesn't have any that are specifically specially themed about anything, whether it be the flagship monsters or elder dragons. I mean, there's obviously like single elder dragon quests, but not anything super special with multiples together. But we are back in Village because this one actually has a couple that I'd like to do. First one I'm going to be doing, and I'll have separate episodes for them obviously because I think they're, I guess, that special. I don't know. The first one is called Advanced Monster Hunter. Has us hunting a Rathlos, Tigrex, Nargacuga, and Rajang in the arena. I'll go ahead and take the quest. These are not hyper versions, but they actually do still take quite a bit of time. Either way, I have the quest. Go ahead and head on out. So there are only 4 monsters here, as opposed to the 5 in the Advanced Ultimate Generation quest. That is the other one in the 10-star village selection that we have. And surprisingly, at the very least, when I tested both of them out, both hunts took the same amount of time. I will probably blame that actually on these monsters not being hyper. They have very similar health to the the hyper monsters actually in the other quests. The only difference is that they do not have the hyper spots on them that make them weaker, and obviously fill up your gauge a lot quicker as well. So you're not getting as many mega boomerangs out either. I will also say they also are a bit more dangerous. I don't know if that's just because I haven't fought these as much as the Faded 4 and Fauststrax. Fauststrax actually gave me a bit of trouble though. But they certainly are not as easy to just pull out random mega boomerangs as often as you maybe would please. And they still hit decently hard. I do think that they have the G rank health, or sorry, defense, not defense, certainly not defense values, but the G rank attack values that will actually deal some decent damage to you if you're hit by them. So don't let your guard down completely. If you are going into this with high rank village equipment, just high rank equipment in general, there's no real specific difference, then you will be taking actually quite a bit of damage. The only upside is that they don't have as much health as their G rank counterparts. However, the more damage you're having to try to play around, the slower the hunt will take in general, just because you're not able to play as aggressively as you maybe would like to be to get out as much damage as possible. It's not a particularly super interesting hunt. I am using the Silverwind Star because I think from Mega Boomerang spam it is the better option. Like I said before, you get that extra 10% damage just from your regular hits from the Mega Boomerang, as well as having some nice affinity and purple sharpness. I do still think that the specific raw side of the Bloodbath Hammer and just using it as a normal boomerang weapon is still better. In fact, it may actually be better for this specific hunt just because I'm not able to get as many mega boomerangs out as I would like, especially compared to the hyper quest I'll be doing later. But I still think this is certainly a good option, and if you're using crit boost, I think you would rather just honestly use weakness exploit. If you drop critical up large, you can actually throw in weakness exploit, and that should, I think, or actually I think you keep critical up large, and then weakness exploit will get you up to 100% affinity. So I guess you could actually get rid of attack up large. Maybe consider putting crit boost on there, but you probably would rather just put on ranged attack or something if you have the option of DLC skills, which I do not right now. I actually have access to them, as I've said before, but that is not the point of this particular challenge. He's going to talon dive me. I will be hit, but it won't pin me, thankfully. I'm going to go ahead and heal the poison off. I don't think both of my cats have Detox Horn. I think only the healer cat does. So I can't rely on that actually coming out very quickly. Careful. Just dodge the wind press there. And since he's not hyper, his fireballs won't have very large hitboxes either. So I can actually kind of avoid that. I'm going to actually rev this up. See if it works. Turn around and tackle at me, please. Thank you. Very good. Nice air dunk. And a tail cut. Would have preferred that tail cut coming out later, but oh well, beggars can't be choosers. Got a face break and a wing break. Keep going for that face. That's some great damage. I'm going to go back to attacking regularly now so I can build up some more gauge, get a good flinch. Throw one into his face here. I need to reapply both buffs now. I was a little late. Unfortunately, I got the guard cancel, which did kind of put me in a bad spot. dodge into that, move a little bit away. I think I'm fine. I may be hit by wind press, but that's not going to damage me at the very least. I'm going to stand behind here. He's going to charge maybe at me. If not, I can easily dodge a fireball because he's far enough away. Throw these out, just kind of get them to hover in his face if he charges into them, which he does. He's going to fly forward, so he will not trigger the trap because he is on the air, in the air, not on the air. I guess kind of on the air. I'm not really quite sure how that works grammar-wise, but it's not super important, I guess. Going into the wings here, not super great. And honestly, you may even consider just using a thunder weapon here because Rathalos has a slight weakness to it. I think it's your secondary weakness, first being Dragon, of course. Then you have Tigrex, which is weakest to Thunder Element, and Nargacuga as well, which is weakest to Thunder Element. The only downside is that you have Rajing at the end, which, you know, completely immune on all that, being a Thunder monster. But he still does take some decent raw, so I'm not quite sure how that makes up, but I did make the mistake last time of assuming that the middling elemental option was better. And again, there are 3 monsters here that are actually somewhat weak to it, as opposed to last time where it was only like 3, and even then the 2 weren't particularly weak to it. Either way, go ahead and carve them up, and I will meet you when Tigrex appears. All right, Tigrex has spawned in. I do not have enough gauge for Mega Boomerang. Always, if you have that, start with that. You can build up gauge later if you absolutely need to. But if you do, you know, just want to get a lot of just burst damage off right at the start, it's always good to use that. Or I guess if you're not a Charge Blade. I guess Charge Blade if you really want to, but I feel like you'd want to save files and not do an SAED or something like that. But if you're at, what's it called? Great Sword. It's like the main weapon in the series. For whatever reason, I cannot remember what it's called. But you can use that, get a true, or not a true charge. That's not in this game. You think I would remember these things. A level 3 charge. That's the simplest thing. A strong charge, I guess, preferably, but I don't really know how feasible that is. You'd really have to have some good timing on that and positioning as well if you want to hit a good spot, which I guess is possible, right? It doesn't, you know, immediately roar, so you're not immediately in danger of damage. And that's a specific Tigrex thing because even if you have earplugs, you can't really, you know, avoid that damaging roar without some sign or some kind of a depth or evasion. I don't even know if you can iframe that roar specifically, the damaging part. I'd say probably, but I would be wrong on that most likely. He's gonna slam into me, actually completely miss me. Find that very interesting. He is enraged. I don't remember which monster of the 4 has 6,000. The rest of them have 5 and a bit after 1,000 health. If that makes any sense. So again, not terrible. You are still dealing with, I think, about 21,000 health in total, but again, their health values or their defense values are that of a high rank monster, so they are taking quite a bit of damage. At the very least, a little bit more than a G rank monster would be. So even though they have pretty high amounts of health, it's not gonna actually take that hard or take that long to chew through it. It's not gonna be that hard to chew through it either, as long as you are keen to the monster's moveset and whatnot, know when to counter it, all that fun stuff. Right, look at me, get out of the way. Probably gonna turn, no turn, double bite, scoop. Completely missed me again. I'm not sure what you were aiming for there. I guess he saw like a bird or something flying over. Didn't really work out too well for him, though he did hit me with the tackle, so I guess it was more of a mix-up than anything. I don't know how it mixed me up, though, because I can't really fly, so I wouldn't be going up that high anyways. All right, good. Cancel the tackle there, wait for him to bite, get out of the way. I could go for the legs here just to get a topple, but I'm not going to specifically go out of my way for it. I'll just try to pierce through them to hit the face. Okay, this is a good chance for Mega Boomerang. I should have plenty of time. I'm going to ready Soothing Roll, though, for it. Nice. Did not mean to do that. I was acting as if I was still in Mega Boomerang. I was not. That's okay, though. Legs are now an actual good hit zone. Once again, since he's enraged. Just throwing up boulders. Tried to get that with an adept dodge. A little too late on it, though. There we go. That's a little bit better. Slice. He's going to hop backwards, probably into a charge, so I'll ready this. If he charges, throw one out. Probably could have thrown 2 out there and still been fine. He's fixing to run into the pitfall trap. not anymore. He's halfway across the map, so that doesn't really matter too much. Here comes a spin. Dodge that. Boomerang's here. Careful. Just always being wary when he tackles to make sure he's not turning around or anything, because he can pull that out pretty quickly. At the very least, a standard tackle. I did press the B button there, but it was a little too late. He is like standing on the precipice of that trap. In fact, I'm quite surprised that it has not gone off yet. It will not go off though if he just turns on a dime. It's okay. I'm actually going to go over here and heal a couple of times. Careful. You going to slide into it yet? You're fixing to. Okay, very good. Get the guard cancel again. Wonderful. We really do not like guard cancels because they're just very, very, very inefficient uses of time because they don't do anything. You're not even protected during that. All right. Up in the air. You can flash bomb them there if you have flash bombs. Knock them on the ground. Get some good damage off again. It's going to growl. Going to dodge a couple of times to get forward. I could have lunged there actually. Maybe it would have been a little bit faster, but that's okay. 2 boomerangs here. Tried to tackle again, didn't quite work out. Little dive jump. I'm gonna actually spin to his face here. I was prepared for an instant tackle, but he did ready a jump, which is easier for me to tell and dodge. There's the tail cut. Tail cuts come pretty easy. Again, they're not really taking a lot of punishment, as opposed to the monsters that, you know, we're particularly used to seeing in G-Rank, which take a lot of punishment just to do one thing to them. Turn around again. Yep, into a tackle. Thankfully, that is an active hitbox. The swirling and flailing around. So you don't dodge into it, it not activate, and then get hit by it randomly. That does happen occasionally. It's something you have to prepare for. Keep spinning. Oh no, that's okay actually. That's really good. Because I think you end this in a little bite. Or not, but even then, get right in the face there. And we'll finish him off. All right, there's Tigrex. I'll go ahead and finish carving him up, and I will meet you with Nargacuga. All right, Nargacuga time. Reapply buffs. He's gonna growl. I can ignore this one though because it won't damage me. Just get some spins off at the face. That's gonna hit me. It's okay though. I have had the double tail spins actually interact weirdly, where the first one doesn't hit me, and I'll dodge it, and then he'll hit me with the second one. I find that very odd, but I'm not quite sure what sweet spot I was hitting to where it wouldn't hit me, because I was at the mid-range, which is where it does actually hit. Kind of like that one, but he does it twice. Tackle. Okay, we're good. Do it again. Just a little landing attack. I'm gonna lunge here. Spin. Get some damage off. Can actually be a little bit more scrappy here if you really want to be, especially if you're using a melee weapon, because that will obviously scale better with your boomerang spins and whatnot, your lunges and all that. So definitely a fun fight for a bomber cat at the very least, so you can use your adapt dodges in case the situation is sticky. See, I really am not quite sure why those don't hit. I'm very used to those hitting, and maybe that's just a Silverwind thing where it does hit. I don't know, but certainly there is some way to leverage that in your advantage that I am not aware of, and I'm not going to even bother trying, because I don't think that would be the most efficient use of time, because as soon as I would try to leverage it, I would be hit by it both times. So we're gonna just ignore that and treat it as an actual attack that I have to dodge. Very careful. Worst case scenario, I don't actually lose any time, I just use up a dodge, and that's a-okay. Punch into that. Swipe. I did try to go into a boomerang throw there. It didn't quite work out. It's okay. Very good. He's gonna actually taunt here, so I'll get some damage off by spinning. Get behind him. You're gonna lunge. Always assume the lunge after attack or a tackle or something like that. Actually, a jump. That's when you expect a lunge. Most importantly is after a jump that doesn't actually attack you, and then assume it after the attacking jump, because he can combo it. He won't always combo it as usual, but it is safer just to try to dodge something. Again, the worst thing that can happen is you use up a dodge, and that's it. And it's not like you're in limited supply of those. Just make sure you don't use all three at once and then leave yourself open. Go ahead and spin. Oh no, I guess he's just taunting. Well, that opportunity was just completely wasted. I could have salvaged it, but man, again, guard canceling is a bit annoying. He enrages here, so that's good. At the very least, I can redeem this. I only had enough gauge for one anyways, so I guess I'm still coming out positive on that. Very good. 1, 2. Bit of a greedy spin there. It's okay though. Swipe, he's gonna bounce. Bounce up. Get another swipe off. I'm gonna try to spin here. I don't think it's gonna hit anything particularly amazing, but that's okay. He's gonna double tail attack here, but he can't really turn 360 degrees or even 180. I don't think he would have to turn 360 degrees. He would just attack the same spot. That would be completely worthless on his part. All right, dodge into that. Swipe. He's gonna bounce. Okay, no bounce. Now you bounce. Boing. Very good. We're enraged, so our affinity is actually increased now to 70. Either 70 or 65. Let me check. Just gonna look at my affinity real quick. It is 70, which is pretty good. You know, that's 70% chance you're dealing 15 or 20% more damage. I don't remember. I think it's 25. And then critical boost boosts it up to 40. Though it may be 20, and then critical boost increases that up to 40. I don't know. All right, keep jumping around. That's fine. Yes, very good. I think I'm safe here for this. I did mash X there, so I'm not going to be able to control it as much as I would like, but that's okay. You enrage again, which is good. Get that out. And there is Nargacuga. Very quick, very nice, very clean, very simple. No acorns have been lost yet. So I'll go ahead and carve him up, and I will meet you with Rajang. All right, Rajang has appeared. Rajang is the one, which I guess normally that gives you the most trouble, because it is Rajang, very infamous for being particularly fast and light on its feet and dealing some decent amounts of damage. But I mean, even that punch didn't do a particularly large amount, considering the fact that I don't have any defense buffs up. But keep your distance if you really want to. If he's staring you down like straightway like this, dodge to the left. That way the Kelby Hop doesn't hit you, because he always does that to your right. So if you dodge to the right and you don't get the timing on it correctly, you will be smacked by it. It's better to dodge to the left so you don't be hit by that. And if he does the punches, you're in danger on both sides anyway, so just try to time that correctly. You should be good. There's the Kelby Hop. If I had dodged a little bit faster there, I would have been fine, but he decided to just enrage anyways and save me the pain of being hit. Wouldn't do his little bounce attack. Go ahead and spin here. All right, I'm going to throw one out here. Wait for this. Dodge into it. Swipe him. He's going to bounce backwards. He's doing his bounce again. Just move back and forth. Now, he does do a little growl after it, so depending on the distance you are from him, you should be safe to throw a Mega Boomerang, but I don't really feel safe using it right now. Maybe now I do. Yeah, I think I do now. I didn't have enough gauge before, but I don't mind using it now. That's a bit dangerous. You don't want to follow that attack, obviously, if you're using your adept dodges, because those will run out of iframes very quickly in the face of like an attack that continuously has a hitbox even after you dodge the first initial strike, which individual punches do certainly have that property to them. Very good. He's going to spin. I'm safe from that spin. I will get right behind him and attack the tail. Dodge into him here. Just try to be aggressive and swipe him. You will be punished for being too aggressive, though. Do give him the time that he actually needs to actually ready an attack, so you do know how to dodge it, and you have a better position on when he finishes that attack, and you don't get tremors like I do. Alright, throw that out. Dodge into this. I think I'm at a safe enough distance. He's going to hop backwards, do his bounce attack. I will dodge that one. I'm going to try to be very tight on my cornering there. That way he can't pin me or anything like that. Not in the sense of like actually mechanically pinning me, but just, you know, pin me so I have to get hit or something like that. That's why you don't really want to dodge the initial hit, and even preferably you're not getting an adept on the second hit either. It's waiting till the third one, but sometimes you don't really have that luxury. He can't actually change his target in the middle of that attack, so that is something else you also have to watch out for. He does like to keep his distance sometimes, which does get a bit annoying, but For the most part, he does try to close distance. But it is bad if he does finish an attack far away from you and you don't have like a Mega Boomerang or something ready to actually hit him with, because then you're just wasting all that time walking up to him. Right, here comes a slam. Very good. I did get hit by that. That has actually a fairly large hitbox for what it looks like. Bounce, bounce, bounce. Ready this up. Cat's healing me so I can take a hit if I absolutely need to. Also, even if you rev up a Mega Boomerang after he does the bounce attack, he can still like just jump in a random direction, so you're not 100% going to get that off. It's fairly consistent, but there will be times that you know, will just kind of miss it just because he jumps out of the way. And there's not really an easy way to line it up or anything that will guarantee it hits. So I guess you could hold it. If you really wanted to, you could hold it, but then if you hold it for that long, you do risk the possibility of him just getting completely out of the way of it when you actually do end up throwing it. It's a risk-reward system for some good damage. Beam is another attack that you can somewhat consistently dodge. Ideally, you position out of the way of the beam so you don't get hit like that, but if you're really starving for damage, you can just, you know, still throw it out and still be fine. But again, ideally, you're just positioning out of the way of it, and you don't have to waste the time for the adept animation to actually play out before you can throw anything. I'm a bit shaky right here. Just run into that, get behind him. Pull it out. He's gonna back up. Do his little jump slam. Dodge that in case it does hit me with tremors. It does not though, so I will continue throwing boomerangs at him until he falls over. Shouldn't take too much longer now, but can still put up a bit of a fight. Again, thankfully we're not like playing till time, like 50 minutes. That certainly does wear on your nerves a little bit. Okay, that looked a little odd. I don't know really what I got hit by there, because I think I moved a little bit before the rage triggered, and if it was the initial attack that threw me on the ground that triggered rage, I wouldn't have been able to move. So I don't know if I was just like flicked by something and that's what triggered it, or if something else happened. I'm not too sure. Okay, this is why we don't like ledges, because you just don't play with them. They're not fun. They're not friendly nor fun, and certainly not hospitable. You can fall off of them, and that's bad. Now their laser actually was in the perfect spot for that, but it's okay. Spin. Boomerangs here. Laser. Perfect opportunity for this. He shouldn't be able to counterattack me fast enough. He actually throws another one out, so if I had more gauge, I would have been able to punish that. I think that's a horn break. Yes. I have one more of those to go. It's a very, very dangerous game I'm playing there, but came out on top at the very least. Oh, there's the guard cancel again. Very wonderful. I guess I'm just not holding the guard button down long enough, but normally it works. Back to being unenraged. I was not hit by that, surprisingly. I would not have been surprised if I were, and I would not have complained. I certainly deserved if I did. It's okay though. Hit me with a little slam. Little lightning pulse there. Not really much is coming out of that at the very least. Now is the chance for Mega Boomerang, since he's doing his little exhaustion taunt. Okay, well, he does still jump out of the way. You got to be careful about that. In fact, this is probably just the safer attack that's whirled right past his face. Maybe shaving off a little bit of fur, but not doing anything there. Took the second one to actually finish him off. But yeah, there we go. Again, 25 minutes, which seems surprising, but they're fairly tanky for what they are. They're not having those hyper spots softening them up at the very least. So either way, I will go ahead and carve them up, and I will meet you back at base. All right, and there we go. Nothing particularly interesting for cats is unlocked after completing that quest. So no goodies or new weapons or armor or anything for us to look at, unfortunately. But at the very least, you can say you've done it. Either way, hope you enjoyed. If you did, please consider leaving a comment below and maybe consider subscribing. Until next time, goodbye.